The important thing here is the 400 to 1,000 newtons. So we know that in the literature that 400 newtons, give or take a couple 50 newtons, is what it takes to distract the human hip. But then we have studies that show that you get closer to 800 newtons and it's even better for outcomes for mobility and pain. But again, we need a lot more research around this. But that's important here based on the newtons because this will produce up past that 800 to 1,000 newtons. The Superman will not. So Superman's great when you don't have this, traveling, hypermobile or not that stiff. But if you got a stiff hip, you want this thing. All right, so I'm not going to play this whole video. I think this is that's a video. But basically, when you put this on, you're going to put the ankle piece right above the malleoli, just like where we grab them. And I'm talking here about just getting it right above there. Because if you put it up higher here, where this individual is super muscular up here, if you put it up there, you know, they're bigger, and when it starts to pull, because how do you grab something and pull so hard when all you have is these little bony knobs to grab onto? How do you make it comfortable yet pull hard and not slip off? And so you got to get it tight at the skinniest part, and all this, no matter how big or small you are, we're all relatively about the same right above our malleoli. We're all about 19 to 22 centimeters in circumference. I'm probably the only one that would know that. And then you have the above the knee part, and then that's going to hook to it. So it hooks together, so when you start pulling from here, you distribute some of that force, so it's more comfortable that way, and the person doesn't feel like their ankle's going to fall off, their foot's falling asleep or anything like that. And because the strap's in the back, when it starts to pull, it actually unloads patellofemoral. There's no patellofemoral stress at all, so there should be no pain at all. It should just be like, yeah, it feels like somebody's kind of grabbed me a little bit, okay? We'll just move on from there. When you put the want the hook to be centered to your Achilles tendon. The way it's designed, if you center that to the Achilles tendon, when the person gets on there, they will fall out automatically to whatever available ER they have. But the cool thing is if you want to, maybe you don't want to be cozy with them, maybe you want to go after that joint capsule, you're going to bias them towards a little IR. You know, a little bit more abduction, a little bit more extension. So you can do all that with depending on how you put it on. And I'm not going to go, the focus is not to go over a bunch of HipTrack stuff, but go to hiptrack.com and there's a million videos and protocols that you can look at. All right, so here's Jessica. Is Jessica in the room somewhere? No, she said she's going to be here. She's in grad school at George Fox. She was an aide, therefore she's part of the filming. So there's a little pad that you would put in between your ischial tuberosity and the device, because you're gonna lie down and put your sit bone just basically right up to that, and then you're gonna reach up, you're gonna pull it into you as tight as you can and try to reach up into whatever the hole, depending on your leg length, you're gonna get up into whatever hole you can get into, but you want to take up all that slack first, because if it's really loose and you pump, it's gonna slide into you, and then you've lost half of the amount of pumping mechanism because it'll top out. So it's important that you take up all the slack you can. And then she'll take it's just like the cervical and lumbar traction units, right? We just never had one for hip, now we do. It's just the same thing. And then to get the abduction, you don't want the person to take their painful, diseased, that sounds so bad, injured hip and lift it up and move it into abduction, right? So you just basically leave their hip there and you just relatively move your body the opposite way so they can have whatever abduction they want. Once that person gets to the point where, and you can look for the protocols online, but once they get to that 50, 60, 70 PSI, 50 PSI on this is 400 newtons. So that magic number for humans, 400 newtons, magic is happening even before that. It's probably not any kind of capsular deformation, but it's probably, again, the patellofemoral taping stuff. People will say all the time, oh man, it feels so good. And I'm like, yeah, it's only at 20, geez. So it'll be even better later. But once they